We have Ibu Tati and Pak Bambang, two of our lectures there. They are still having lunch. Please enjoy. And we are also having one more lecture here, Ibu Destina at the back. And all here are MA and PhD students of the Faculty of Education. Yeah, so I'm very happy today to welcome Professor Sirozi. He is one of the lecturers at the State Islamic University in Palembang. In fact, he was the former rector of that State Islamic University in Palembang in Sumatra, another island. And he is especially come here to Triple IU to have two sessions today, the lunch talk and the visit to MA class for the education and society after this lunch talk. Yeah. So I also reschedule my class because you reschedule the class into the afternoon. So I reschedule the class to the afternoon too. So we will go home together. I will drop you in the your accommodation, yeah, after your class, and your class will. Since 2022, yeah. And to know better about Professor Sirozi, I would like to read his CV, which is very long, 12 pages, but I will not spend 12 I will not spend a very long time to read the 12 pages of his CV. I would like to highlight some of the important information. For example, his educational background, because I already told you that he is one of the lecturers in the postgraduate studies at the State Islamic University in Palembang, Raden Intan. And I have already told you that he was the former rector, also the former director of the postgraduate studies at the UIN Palembang. And his educational background, his first degree is from Faculty of Islamic Education from the same institution, which was formerly the State Institute for Islamic Studies, EIN Palembang. And he took his MA, graduated from Department of Social Anthropology, School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, England, 1992. So that's where I was graduated from my first degree in UIN Bandung, yeah. And he has his PhD from Monash University, Department of Educational Policy, Faculty of Education, yeah, in Australia. So and he was graduated 1998, yeah, that's during the reform era. And I just had my master at that time from Murdoch University, Australia. So we are Australian alumni, yeah. But I was in Melbourne University for my PhD. And there are so many positions that he has. The recent one is the member of the task force team for the establishment of non-government accreditation board for religious studies, which is called LAM-GAMA. Now we have like independent accreditation institution, and he is one of the founder, yeah, the task force team. It already established or not yet? Lamgama might be still in the process, yeah. Okay, yeah, he has become the founder of many things, like the founder of Shanum Institute, International Partnership for Better Education, and then the founder of Center for Pancasila and State Resilience Studies, yeah, founders of the Asian Studies, Pusat Studi ASEAN, and many international academic experiences, such as the member of the steering committee for the annual International Conference on Islamic Studies in Denpasar and Mataram, also maybe in Surabaya, yeah, Prof. Sirozi? Yeah, yeah. I met him the first time in 2007 when I presented my paper in the first Young Leader conference, and the second was in the ICIS, I think in Surakarta, but he might not remember me or might not even know me. Actually, he was the moderator in my presentation. I think that's enough for me to introduce him to you. If you have further question, you can ask a question. Now, time is for Professor Sirozi to present his topic today on understanding relationship between education and politics. Time is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Bu Nina. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bu Dekan ya, Bu Nina, and you have Vice Dean also, or the head of program, ya? PhD scholar, okay? Apa Bambang? Okay, nice to meet you, Pak Bambang and Ibu. And of course, nice to meet you all, students from different countries. I can see from your faces, you're from different countries. Maruf, yeah. Afghanistan, yeah. Masya Allah. Yeah. Pakistan. Sabah. Yeah, I'm really happy to meet you all. Yeah. Actually, I regret that last year Bu Nina invited me, but I couldn't make it, since we were in the COVID-19 situation. Yeah, but very complicated time arrangements. So this time, thanks for the invitation. With a very hectic time, yeah. Actually, I spent 3 days in Gorontalo. Just landed and come here. Yeah. So I'm happy that I can make it this time. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So as Bu Nina said that my major is on education. So, especially my research for dissertation is the politics of education, politics of Islamic education in Indonesia. Yeah. So my studies is a kind of, changing from one stage to another. Yeah. My BA degrees was teacher education, yeah. Religious teacher education, PAI. Yeah. My master degree at University of London was the social anthropology. And my PhD was at the Department of Education Policy at Monash University. So my first research interest in on the politics of education, but I'm also teaching on education and globalization, and I'm also teaching on education management. So there are 4 subjects that I handle for teaching and supervising thesis and dissertation. So today, I would like to share with you an issue, yeah, that actually has a very powerful impact on our education and our society, but very much ignored by scholars, So at the end of this session or this lecture, I hope that some of you would pay more attention on the issue of the relationship between education and politics, because it's really brings serious and long-term effects on the quality, on the characteristic of our education system, our society, and also our political system. But as I said, not many scholars paying attention on these particular issues. Very limited studies on these particular issues, the relationship between education and politics. My study is on the politics, so I'm my studying more on the political issue. But today I'm not going too far on the political aspect of, but I'm trying to share a very basic ideas in order to to make this issue interesting for all of us. That's my mission actually. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to start for some quote, some quote, that I like very much. Yeah. In relation to this particular issues. Yeah. This quote from Thomas Paine, yeah, everything is politics. Yeah. Actually, whatever that we are doing in our life, whether in our family and in our, society, in our organization, everything that we are doing, come with some political, issues. Even in this room, there are political issues. Yeah. And another quote from Rahul Gandhi, yeah, this guy from India, yeah. Politics is everywhere. Yeah. So wherever we go, we'll find some politics. It is in your shirt. It is in your pants, and it is everywhere. So I conclude politics is everywhere and belongs to everyone. If you ignore politics, then politics will take you. Anybody who are not aware with his political situation, will be political victims. So our job is actually make our, society aware that politics is everywhere. Yeah. That's why there is problem everywhere, because there is politics everywhere, and then there is a problem everywhere. So why it is very difficult for our education system, to develop smoothly, yeah, because there is politics in it. If there is no politics, then there wouldn't be any problem. But we cannot ignore the politics. And then another quote, yeah, a deeper quote, yeah, education is inherently politics. What I said that this particular is actually very old, has been raised for very long time. Not many scholars are interested in this particular issue. Even in United States of America, this particular issue, relation between education and politics, you can argue 1960s. So this is a new discipline of studies, different from philosophy, different from psychology, different from history, different from sociology, different from linguistics. We have a very old history. But the study of relationship between politics and education, particularly the politics of education, is relatively young disciplines of science. So it's actually began in 1960s in the United States of America. So until 1960 in America, there was, I would say, a very unrealistic view, saying that get politics out of the school and get the school out of politics. So until 1960s, people in the United States even believe that educational institutes, school, can be very autonomous, can be very independent, can be separated from politics, can be, put away from political intervention. So this was the time when people begin to realize that, there were political disturbance into our education system. But by that time, people in the United States begin to say that, try to say that, no, we can develop our That's the idea, in the 60s. But in 1959, there was a very influential article. Our suggestion to find this article. An essay here. The title is Toward an Understanding of Public School Politics. So Thomas Eliot became a very realistic. Okay, there's always politics in our school, in our education. So now let's understand it. Don't just say avoid it. We cannot avoid it. Now we should understand the politics in our education. Instead of going away from politics, instead of trying to put our school aside from politics, let's understand it. Let me be realistic. So basically, in this article, Thomas Eliot called political scientists to recognize school politics. Because traditionally, political scientists are studying politics in parliament, politics among interest groups, politics among activists. Now, Thomas Eliot said, let's learn politics in our school. So we understand what sort of politics is in our school. Then, if we understand it, then we can do something about it. Do something the best, so that our education can develop. Now, many scholars believe that with the influence of Thomas Eliot's article, so after 1969, schools become political institutions. Actually, before that, a school was political institution, but scholars just ignore it. It's not politics. There's no politics in our school. Now, after the article, and people realize, actually, there was a lot of politics involved in our school. So actually, from there on, during the Prof time, in the house of Arqam, during the Abbasid, the establishment of Nizamiya, the establishment of Mu'tazila, are taking off. I think it's always come along in education, but until then, people try to say, no, no. There is no politics. Education is education, politics is politics. Then Thomas earlier said, okay, fact that all, in fact, there is no educational institution free from politics. Even this very high, yeah. People are you, yeah. People are you. But micropolitics and macropolitics, people within the institution and outside the institution. You know, you shouldn't do follow the politics related to this institution. You know, in the ministerial office, in the parliament, in the presidential office, this person, this person, we regard this because we collect people happy. But you don't get to spend the time for that. It's focused on your. It's like yeah. So after 1959, after the article, people trying to learn, yeah, the real thing about education and politics. So the bureaucratic and managerial revolution were public elections. That this is the first time when bureaucracy coming from education. Then education institution becomes bureaucracy. Before, there was one teacher, one guru, everybody was learning. That's fine. You don't have to register. You don't have to have a certain qualification. This is the time when educational institution become very bureaucratic. Yeah. Before you register to every institution, you have to contact this person, you have to do this administration, you have to pay this, and so on. Then scholar began to see schooling. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry. Then, since then, yeah, scholars began to see schooling enterprise as one of the nation's core political institution. Yeah. Then, when scholars try to learn about the politics of our school, our university, then they realize, oh, right, schooling enterprise is one of the nation's core political institution. As a matter of fact, before we didn't understand it. We said, oh, this is education, a pure, no politics. In fact, in our school, in our high school, in our university, yeah, this is one of the core nation political institution. Sorry, Bu. Nina, yeah. And school become professionalized and bureaucratized, emerging as partners to industrial revolution. So knowledge is just knowledge begin to become important instrument for social mobility, yeah, for economic transportation, for political change. Before, people studying or for wisdom, if you have your knowledge, you will have the wisdom. That's simple. Now, people begin to understand knowledge is not just for knowledge, not just for wisdom. It is for political, social mobility. It is for job market, for economic transformation, etc. and etc. By the mid-1960s, Because when there is new realities, then some critic will emerge. Then in 1960s, critic began to challenge the appropriateness of an industrial management orientation and seeing it as promoting professionalization and reinforcing class division. This is what happening. When economy, when politics intervene deeper and deeper in educational institution, then our institution become professionalization. When we are talking about professionalization, then it become it's very close to commercialization. Professionalization, then commercialization. People begin to, why we should pay so expensive for education then? Some critics emerge, and of course, it reinforcing class division. Then the idea of lower class society, middle class society, and high class society begin to differ and differ as a result of different access to education. Of course, people graduate from elementary school can only get a job as a cleaning service or wash the dishwasher in restaurant. But if you graduate from high school, then you can be maybe a taxi driver or small business. Yeah, but if you graduate from high school, if you graduate from master from Harvard University, from Yale University, then you'll have a different job. If you have a better job, then you better income. A better income, a better lifestyle, etc. and etc. This is what happening until now. Even in Indonesia, we have the sekolah unggulan. Sekolah unggulan is not in terms of the quality. The competitiveness is not only in terms of the teaching quality, but also in terms of the fee. Yeah, the fee is more expensive. But if your sons, your daughter graduated from this sekolah unggulan special school, then they will have a better access to good universities. If you graduate from a top university, then you have a good chance to have a good job. If you have a good job, then your first salary will be different from your mom salary after working 20 years. if you accept it, as an engineer in a big company, then your salary will be better than a professor who already worked for 20 years on campus. So that's why so many special school students are from middle and upper class families, because only these families who can pay for the school. But here in our university, a lot of scholarship, alhamdulillah. Full scholarship, alhamdulillah. Well, they are, qadarullah, Allah, provide us, with the scholarship, with a very, very good campus. So, alhamdulillah. But don't forget, a lot of politics. Without politics, this campus will never be here. Yeah, Now, I would like to invite you to look at this particular differ and differ. The genealogy. After we look at the history now, the genealogy. Where this idea come from. Yeah, the idea that education and politics are inseparable. unseparable, cannot be separated. Where the idea come from? Actually, this is very old ideas, The oldest books, people know that Plato's Republic is book on politics. But actually, yeah, I read the English translation of the book, a lot of politics of education, a lot of educational discussion on education in this book. Very interesting, very old, very old discussion on relationship between education and politics. I just quote some sentences from Plato's Republic. He said, education is not merely a matter of individual self-improvement. It is a means to achieve both individual and social justice. So now people are struggling social justice through law, They said, if we have a good law enforcement, then we have a justice. But according to Plato, no. The root of social justice is education, not law enforcement. This is what we forget today, We produce law, regulation, but still injustice every day, But if we follow Plato, no. If you want a justice, social justice, then fix your education. Have a good education. Because, he said, social justice can be achieved when all social classes in a society, workers, warriors, and rulers are in an harmonious relationship. This is the only way to have a social justice. There must be harmonious relationship between all group of people in our society. Then individual justice, he said also, excellent, justice is excellent, can be obtained when each individual develop his or her ability to the fullest. There cannot be justice if one group of societies are well educated, another group are uneducated. There cannot be justice when one group of society, enjoy a good job, good salary, but another group of society are jobless. There can never be justice. There can never be a harmonious society, If the situation is up. Okay. Actually, Plato is in line with Socrates, Yeah. According to Socrates, excellent, because Plato said knowledge is excellent. Socrates said excellent is virtue, and virtue is knowledge. Just knowledge is required to be just. So justice can only be developed if you educate your people. Provide your people with knowledge, sufficient knowledge. There can never be justice if some people are knowledgeable and some people are ignorant. They cannot meet. They cannot talk to one another. Yeah. So education is very important here. And according to Plato, there are three stages of development of knowledge. The first is knowledge of one on job. This is a very basic knowledge. We should have knowledge, relevant to our job. So if our job is a teacher, that we have to learn how to be a good teacher. If we are a taxi driver, we have to learn how to drive well. You should have a driving license. If you want to be army, you should have knowledge about army. Then The second level of knowledge is self-knowledge. Yeah. You should understand about yourself, who you are, what is your potential, what you can do best, and what you cannot do. What do you need? And then the highest level of knowledge, according to Plato, is knowledge of the idea of the God, which is the knowledge of the Aqidah or the Tawhid. I think what Plato's basic ideas has been articulated, has been developed by contemporary scholars on education. For example, now a lot of research, regarding the importance of spiritual intelligence. Until 1970s, a lot of people in the world believe that anyone who have a good, IQ, yeah, intellectual quotient will be very successful. Yeah. And then in 1998, yeah, this guy, actually originally from India, yeah, called Donna Zohar, and his partners was doing a research and conclude that the most successful people in the world, because they interviewed a lot of top CEO, yeah, top political leaders, they conclude that these people, top business leaders, they said these leaders are successful because they have the IQ, not because of the IQ is high. The IQ is just average. Average means 110, not 140. Yeah. Of course, they are not ideal, yeah. But their IQ is normal, just average. But what makes them very successful is their emotional quotient. They don't only understand what they are doing, but they understand why they're doing it. What is the meaning of what they are doing? So a lot of stories about CEOs who are very successful, with a very simple managerial trick. One CEO in United States saved 5, 6, bankrupt big companies. Then when a company is in bankruptcy, then people call him. Then one day, a journalist interviewed him. What are you doing? Then you can save a company that is collapsing. He said only one thing. Wherever I do my job, I only do my best for one thing. I want to make sure that everybody's around me have a better living. Very simple. So when I come, if someone, are struggling for paying their bill, that I want to make sure, after certain time that he will be able to manage his bill very well. Only one trick. Make sure that people around you will get a better living. I think this is what Plato said about justice, and the importance of justice. Of course, to make people working better, you have to provide them with a better knowledge. Then, still from Plato, yeah, education provide the needed platform to provide the public with productive learning paces that equip people with the skill required to govern their respective state. So actually, what he meant here is, through education, we should prepare everybody to be a leader, not to be a follower. That's why we spend a lot of money to develop education system because we want more people becoming leaders in our society, not the followers. Yeah, if you want to become a follower, then you don't need to take education seriously. It's easy to follow. But if you want to lead something, make something better, then you need a good education. The teaching of political ideologies in school proved to be essential as students get to learn how different leadership tactics can be implemented. And through this, they get to learn what works best for the public. A good sentence from Plato that I like it: politics should flow from education, not vice versa. A lot of leaders today, every day they think how to fix our political system, fix our political regulation. And then our society will be becoming better. This is not the fact. I think Indonesian experience proved this very, very clearly, that political reform will do nothing to make our society better. The only way to make our society better is fix our education system. And maybe this is the reason why every minister want to fix curriculum, And I don't know about that, but at least they pay attention on that. So what Plato mean here is that if you have a good education, if your people are well educated and knowledgeable, then it's not only political system, economic system will getting better and better. If you try to reform your economic system, reform your political system without providing a good education, that it's useless. It's useless. It's just create a new problem. Yeah, let me share with you the case of Islamic banking in Indonesia. Yeah, a lot of money is spent to develop Islamic banking. The latest is the BSI. Yeah, but with 98, 95, 98 Muslim population in Indonesia, Islamic banking in Indonesia should be the biggest bank. But in fact, the capital sharing of Islamic banking in Indonesia is below 30%. Why? Because you reform the banking system without educating your people. People just what people understand is if you join a bank, then you need to have a good automatic teller machine. You should have a good mobile banking. But there are more values that we should explain to our people. There are more knowledge that we should provide with our people so that they understand the importance of Islamic banking. Well, the case of political reform, 1998, until now, is our political system is better? Not at all. But dozen of political regulation has been produced. Why? Yeah, because we didn't start with education. Our education, I don't know, in Pakistan, I don't know, in Afghanistan, in Indonesia, I can say that every minister, when we have a new minister, then we have a new curriculum. Before we understand one curriculum, then we should learn a new curriculum. Islam. Surprise, surprise. I thought it is the case of Indonesia. Yeah. Well, what I learned from, for example, in education, we have the quality, quality assurance system in education. Of course, you need to evaluate your curriculum. Of course, you need to review your curriculum, but there is a time range. You know, it is 5 or 6 years. 5 or 6 years, you have to evaluate your curriculum, which means let one curriculum is running. Then after running for a certain period of time, that you evaluate. How could you understand the weaknesses, the shortcoming, before you fully implement it? Indonesia is the 13 curriculum. Curriculum 13 has not been implemented fully. Then now we have the independent curriculum, Merdeka curriculum. I hope the magister student, PhD student understand, already understand. Even I find it very difficult to understand. What actually you want from this Merdeka curriculum? I'm confused. But I'm afraid that 2024, when we have a new president, then we're going to have a new Minister of Education. We're going to have maybe colonial curriculum. After independent curriculum, a colonial curriculum. No. Why should you change the name, If there is any shortcoming within the old curriculum, you fix it. You don't have to show up with a new name. But, politicians, they don't want something simple. They don't like humble. They want something spectacular. Something that surprises you all. No matter you understand or not, then they don't care. So, reading Plato and Aristotle, then we can understand it. Education is fundamental for good political system, or good economic system. Then we read Francis Bacon, very old, very influential philosopher from British philosopher. I can't read it. Mediaton Sacred, 1597, very old book. Yeah, he said, knowledge itself is a power. Knowledge is a power. So if you want your people is able to change something, to do something, to keep them, provide them with knowledge. But you cannot provide your people with knowledge if you don't have a good education system. As simple as that. You can't say, oh, people, you read at home, you buy your own book, you have learned something. No, you can't do that. Even the Prophet Muhammad, need the house of Arkham. Okay, come here, those my Sahaba who are knowledgeable, teach your brothers. Teach your brothers. You need a teacher to learn knowledge. With knowledge or education, one's potential or abilities in life will certainly increase, of course. That's why in Indonesia, I don't know, in many countries, if you do your degrees, what you're looking for is knowledge, not the certificate. This is very dangerous trend, When students apply in a university, what is it? Oh, when I get the certificate. Yeah. When I get the BA certificate, the magister certificate, they don't think, what knowledge should I get from here? This is the academic culture that we should maintain. The certificate is a reward from Ibu Nina, from rector, But there is no point to have certificate if the knowledge is not there. And a lot of people who do not need certificate, they can be very strong, very powerful because they have knowledge. In Indonesia, for example, we have this ulama names Hashim Ashari, Hamka, they don't have magister, you know, they don't have PhD, but they change Indonesia. They change Islam in Indonesia with their knowledge, not with their certificate. Well, again, I hope this is not happening in other Muslim countries. In Indonesia, a lot of students, they don't complain with if their lecture are not coming for teaching. They don't complain if the library do not provide books for them. They don't complain. They will complain if they don't pass the exam, if their score for exam is low, if they can't finish quickly, if they can't get certificate very quickly. So very dangerous. So if this situation is not fixed, then in the future, we have a good statistic. Oh, our people are well educated. The magister graduate is growing in number. PhD growing, but without knowledge, hopeless. Because Plato said, Socrates said, Prophet Muhammad said, knowledge. Man arada dunya alaihi bil ilmi. If you want to conquer the world with knowledge, not with fulus, Man arada al akhirah fa alaihi bil ilmi. Man aradahuma fa alaihi bil ilmi. If you want to conquer the world, we want to conquer the akhirah. If you conquer both, the only one, knowledge. So I think Francis Bacon was inspired by Prophet Muhammad, But which is good that he said it, because more people in the world reading. Well, because not many people reading hadith, Having and sharing knowledge is widely recognized as the basis for improving one's reputation and influence and thus power. So this is the secret of knowledge. No, if you have knowledge is not for yourself. You cannot keep your knowledge within yourself. There is no point. Knowledge should be shared. Knowledge is the wealth, the true wealth that human being have is knowledge. Because only knowledge is the only asset that when you share it, you get more. That's why one of the dua, important dua for Muslim is Aghnina bil ilmi, wa zayyina bil hilmi. Oh my God, make me rich with not aghnina bil fulus. Because money, with money, if you spend your money, you finish. But knowledge, if you share your knowledge, you will get more. That's why I'm happy Bu Nina invite me, so I can share. I believe I get more. I will learn more from people you with. If we don't have that belief, then we'll keep our knowledge the way we keep our money. Put it in bank, that just take it whenever you need. No, knowledge, you have to share it every time. Wherever you meet your friends, share your knowledge. That's the only way you will develop your reputation. That is the only way you can influence people. However knowledgeable you are, if you never share your knowledge, then you will get no point. So I think this is a very strong Islamic tradition. sharing knowledge. This is what the Prophet Muhammad's close friend, yeah, the Sahaba was doing. They learn from one another. This is the true friendship. True friendship is not going to cafe, enjoy coffee together. No, true friendship is, oh, let's sit down, let's share, let's discuss something. What did you read? Oh, I read this. What does it mean? But now friendship is, okay, when we finish our lecture, we go to cafe, across the street, and we spend 2, 3, 4 hours, just for joking. Sharing knowledge. We should share knowledge. Now, sadly, this tradition, of course, is still very strong if you go to European universities, American universities, You, from Monday morning to Friday afternoon, you will never see student or lecturer, sitting, joking around. Everybody's very serious. If they're on campus, they come to library or attend a class or discuss something with their friend. Of course, they have a morning tea break, a lunch break, afternoon tea break, of course. But knowledge is learning something is very serious. A lot of people, they give away their job just for studying. But now this is another dangerous trend, is a lot of people, oh, I'm already very busy with my job, but they still want to take PhD. I don't believe with this. Oh, I'm tired. I work from 7 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Then after Maghrib, I'll come to campus. No. You should be fresh, to learn something. You should be ready. You're physically ready. Your brain should be ready when you enter the classroom. That's why in the pedagogical theory, we know very well the importance of fun learning. Because when you feel happy, your brain works better. That's why very strongly forbidden for parents, before your kids go to school, don't get angry with them. Because they will not be able to follow their teacher's lesson. When they step out the door, then their mom says, "Oh, you naughty." Then the whole day, they will feel depressed at school. They cannot follow. So make your kid happy before they're going to school. They'll become a very smart student. And also with the wives, if you want your husband to be smart husband out there, don't get angry with them, before they're going to work. Of course, Of course, Nina said, oh, of course, also, all husbands should understand the wife, of course. I fully agree with that, So, wherever we go, if our brain is, if we are happy, our brain will work better. Yeah. That's why we need to be fun. That's why you should not give homework for kindergarten student, for elementary school children, that will make them depressed. Just make them happy. They will learn themselves because they have their brain working. Their brain working. Or they said, during the colonial time, this is Indonesian history, they said, during the Dutch colonial time, the education was very disciplined. If they beat you. I said, don't follow the colonial education because they wanted you to become workers. They don't want you to become a leader. They educate Indonesian to be workers. You should just follow, just do it. But today we want to educate our kid to be a leader, to be to be smart. You know, different objective of education. During our grandparents, you know, oh, you're if you're lazy, then they beat you. You know, then they will be happy if they see uh, their their student crying. You know. Okay, Francis Bacon also. So now this is another quote that I like. You know, Abernethy and Combe, 1965, very old quote. You know. They said, education and politics are inextricably linked. They are not only links, but inextricably linked, which means inseparable. Wherever you discuss education, you will involve political issues. And whenever you discuss politics, then you will consider education. Wherever there is initiative for education, then there will be politics around it, etc. and etc. So in Indonesia, uh, what are the example of inextricably links? Yeah, say if we have a glass of uh, iced tea or sweet coffee, yeah? Sweet tea, yeah? Which means within the glass there are three elements. There is a water, there is a tea, there is a sugar. Oh, because you are diabetes, you know, then you said, oh, I don't want the sugar. I want the water and the tea. Please take the sugar from the water. Can you do it? You cannot do it. Or you said, oh, uh, I like sweet drink, but I don't like tea. You please take the tea from. Cannot. Now, this is the example with education and politics. If you throw education, then you will throw your politics. If you ignore your politics, you will destroy your education. So whenever you want to fix, develop, reform your education system, you should consider the political aspect. And also, whenever you want to fix and reform your politics, then you should consider what sort of education that we need so that the reform will work very well. Oh, no, there is nothing to do with education. This is politics. It's not going to work. Oh, this is pure education. You know, you don't have to involve politics. Then it's not going to work. So this is the way education and politics. It's like two sides of a coin. It's like two sides of a coin. It's unfair. Then this is the guy that make me interested, you know, in doing in focusing my studies on the politics of education. Michel Foucault. He wrote a lot of books, you know. Madness in Civilization, The Archaeology of Knowledge, The History of Sexuality. That's it. But one of the ideas that he, you know, developed, which, you know, impressed me very much. Yeah? Well, honestly, Michel Foucault that make me interested in study on politics of education. Well, when he said about power, knowledge, yeah, the relationship between knowledge and power in our society. Power is based on knowledge. So you cannot be a powerful person, powerful group if you don't have knowledge. Power is based on knowledge and make use of knowledge. This is where politics will make use of knowledge. Power reproduce knowledge by shaping it in accordance with its anonymous intention. So it is politics there. Yeah? Power recreate its own field of exercise through knowledge. So what sort of knowledge that you're going to develop, it depends on the power that you have. If you are powerless, then you will be able to do nothing that you can do. That's why the Madrasah Nizamiyah, need the Khalifah Al-Ma'mun, to develop. So all we have to do is scholars of education should have, collective understanding of a certain issues with politicians. So they use their political power to support education, not to destroy education. How? Or 20? Maybe less than 20. The implication of focus idea of power knowledge. Yeah. Both power and knowledge are decentralized. So there is no, according to Michel Foucault, there is no centralized power. There is no centralized knowledge. Knowledge has its own context. That's why the Imam Mazhab, their relation is they teach a student. But because they develop their knowledge of fiqh in different special context, then they have different ideas. So there is no such a knowledge that centralized. So power and knowledge are relativistic, ubiquitous, and unstable, dynamic, systemic phenomenon. It is changing, Knowledge is changing. This is why the Thomas Kuhn said the scientific paradigm, his book on scientific paradigm. He's explaining that there is no, theories that can survive all time, One theory will be challenged by another theory. One research will be challenged by another research. So we have better knowledge of our environment. Then knowledge is never neutral as it determines post-relation. There is no neutral knowledge. Knowledge always has its social, political context. What is good in Pakistan may not be good in Indonesia, may not be good in Afghanistan. That's why even they are neighboring Afghanistan and Pakistan, not always getting well. Yeah. Pakistan and India always get because what is good for Muslim is not always good for. And then in 1970s, Paulo, very popular book, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Education is freedom. Education is freedom. If the other philosophers talking about justice, about power, knowledge, and power, Michel Foucault, he's make it very simple. Knowledge is freedom. There is no such thing as neutral education, in line with Michel Foucault. Education either function as an instrument to bring about conformity or freedom. So, education is not to make your children, to be colonized, by other culture, but to make them free. Another idea from Paulo is there is a good and bad politic of education. Then in relation to education and politics, the relationship can be good, can be bad. Good politics of education develop positive relationship between education and politics. Bad politic education allows toxic relationship between education and politics. So these two are unsparable, but they can be toxic. Like we brothers, the two of us are brothers, we're supposed to be get along one another, but it can be a very toxic relationship. Husband and wife, brothers, among political parties. Then Sin McAlefee, identifies two types of relationship between education and politics. One, which is very good relationship, is symbiotic relationship. I think we should develop this type of relationship. That education affects politics and vice versa, productive and mutually rewarding. I think symbiotic relationship is very good. And then there is a full cycle connection that educational institutions create, maintain, and limit the state. The political institution has immense power over the education. So this is the way we use education, yeah, to create, maintain, and limit the state. So we should limit the state, what they can do, what they cannot do. It's through education. Otherwise, our politicians will do whatever they want. This is what's happening today, Professors, scholars, yeah, on campus have no say about what the politicians are doing. This is a disaster of our society. Make it very quickly. Other possible relationship, reciprocal relationship, coercive relationship, cynical relationship. Close relationship between education and politics is neither unidirectional nor static. To a large extent, then, the close interaction has been productive and mutually rewarding. So, actually, politics is not the enemy of education. So, all we have to do is develop a positive relationship, a symbiotic relationship. The main aspect of education-politics relationship, the formation of group attitude, the creation and distribution of job, the political role of intellectual group. Yeah. So actually, politicians should give some space for intellectual group to take their role in the society. Don't suppress them, Let them say something from their knowledge. That would be helpful for politicians. What's happening today is all the professors are silent. All the social media, the media mainstream are echoing the voice of the politician. And the pattern of relationship between education and politics will have an implication on policies and public policy and educational policy. Public policies can be rhetorical. During the general election time, a lot of rhetoric from the politician. Oh, if we are elected, if our party is ruling, our education will be the best in the world. We'll do our best. But then when they are elected, then they forget what they say. All rhetorical. It can be symbolic, of course, as we promise in our campaign, but only for showing on TV. After showing on TV, nothing is continued. It's symbolic. Then conditional. Conditionally depend on the situation. If students are, doing the demonstration, and many people are protesting, then they do something. Condition, pragmatic. Okay. If I do this, what I can get. Then very rarely that we find real committed policies. Well, in this regard, I think we have to learn from some countries like Japan. In Japan, a lot of top political leaders resign when they fail to do their job. They don't blame rule. They don't blame policies. They blame themselves. Because all public policies in Japan are based on research, very well prepared. You can never find in Japan, a law after 1 week being reviewed again by Indonesia Mahkamah Konstitusi, ya. Baru 1 minggu, just 1 week. Then the parliament said, if you don't agree, you can review it. What's the point, If you know it is full of shortcomings, then why should you agree on it? This is the culture, the political culture. Yeah. I think the main question, how education empower, some issues that we can research, how education empowers certain individual group and viewpoint of others. What are the political contexts that shape our conception of education and guide our pedagogical practice? For what purposes increased power, funding, and fund are utilized? Are they for educational or non-educational purpose? Money in the Department of Education is not always used for educational purpose. Sometimes it's used for political promotion. Undercovered by educational program. A lot of education project in Indonesia, not for educational purposes, but for political purposes. Who can say that? This is the scholar, the student. If you do research, then you can argue about it. If you don't do research, you cannot do something. But how societies and social organizations use power to establish regulation and allocate resources. Okay, I think that's all. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Sirozi, for sharing your knowledge. And I also agree with you that the more you share your knowledge, the increase your knowledge also, because now we have a question and answer session. I only take 2 questions because of the constraint of time. Okay, please, Eka. And from the left, okay, Zulaiha. Okay, sorry, Eka and Zulaiha. You can ask more questions to him, especially the master students. Okay, please, Eka.
Have
To the Zoom, you need to
all right.
use the.
Okay. Thank you. So from your presentation, I can catch there is an urgency for us, especially in Indonesia, that we need to have good quality of education. Then, like what Plato said on your slide, that politics should come from education. It means we need to have good education, educated person, people that at least we need to collaborate with academician, with education institution to make policy, especially maybe in educational sector. Then I would like to know how far in Indonesia right now, we involve academician, we involve researcher to make policy. Like it is remind me actually the case of East Nusa Tenggara, where they make a policy that students should come to the school at 5 a.m. Yeah, I just want to know, do they involve researcher? Do they involve academician for making policy? Thank you.
Okay, Eka, now you go to Zulaiha. Okay, please.
Thank you. Actually, I want to ask, it's all about, a politic game in Afghanistan and education. So it's a big war between, politic and education. Women are forbidden from education, and there is a big relationship between education and politics. So in your opinion, in case of improvement or promoting our own country, so what do you think, or which one do you prefer or prioritize, education or politics? Best education or best politics system? Thank you.
5 minutes to answer because we have lecture after this.
Yeah, I begin with the second question. Yeah, by reading those philosophers, and according to my observation and my research, all countries should really be very seriously, fix their education system before they fix their political system, then before they fix their economic system and other system. Because before you have a good education system that you believe good, then you have no clear direction where to go, and you will not have appropriate human resource, to support other sectors in your development. So if we are to prioritize, then we have to spend a lot of time, lot of research, lot of studies to develop our own education system with the belief that no such a system is perfect. Of course, there is always be weaknesses for one system, but it's a better system from another. Yeah. And then the first question is actually, this is the policy culture. Yeah. In Indonesia, a lot of public policies are made only by the bureaucrat, without research. Jadi, in the political in the public policy theory, there are some different approach. There are authoritative approach. Authoritative approach is the policy will be based on the idea, the interest of those who have the authority. Whoever become minister, whoever become governor, whoever become dirigent, whatever, if he have something to apply, then he will make it without any study. The best way to develop public policy is research based, but it will take time. You should do the research, you should do the feasibility studies, you should do the pilot project before you implement it. In Indonesia, I would say, for example, in Indonesia, the national exam, ujian nasional was fixed every year. Why? Because it was implemented before feasibility studies. And I'm glad now the ujian nasional has been stopped, because a lot of waste of money, a lot of cheating in it. Yeah, I'm really happy that the minister, one of the things I really support from the current Minister of Education is to stop the national exam system. Secondly, the teacher accreditation, certification, teacher certification. In the beginning, to get the professional certificate, you know. Teacher from the remote area, no matter from villages, you should provide your certificate for international seminar, you know. This is silly, you know. Even on campus, you only have one international conference a year. You know, in the villages, you know, in kabupaten and kecamatan, how could, you know? It was crazy, you know. It was crazy. And then it fixed. Now then it become more realistic. Why this is happening? Because a lot of public policies are not research based. They are authority based. They are made based on the idea, the interest of those who are in the authority. Actually, they are only handling the administrative process. Actually, the idea should be research. This is what we have to learn from many countries. As I said, in Japan, you know, they are very serious. If they want to make a public policy, there is no quick public policy in Japan. They are very careful, but when implement it, you can't stop it. Aiza azamta watawakkal Allah. This is what we have to do. But before we tawakkal, then we have to be serious. In Japan, that's why many ministers in Japan resign, you know, doing suicide. Because when they fail, then it's not because of the regulation, because they failed to do the job. In Indonesia, they're smiling on TVs, you know. If they fail to do the, because our law, our regulation, in a lot of weaknesses, you know. Yeah, that's happening. Yeah. Indonesia, I hope it's not happening in Pakistan, no. In Afghanistan. You know, when public, you know, leaders, you know, fail to do their job, they have a very nice smile on TV. You know? Yeah, actually, we try our best, you know, but our regulation is, you know, a lot of shortcoming. So it's the policy culture, yeah, budaya, kebijakan. Yeah. Actually, we have a lot of good scholars on campus, you know, but they've never been used, yeah, to do the survey, to do the research, to do the discussion. Yeah? Because if you involve scholars, then it will take time, because scholars need to develop their argument. Before they develop the argument, they need to do research, they need data, they need information. Oh, it takes too long, you know. But if you want to be a good country, strong country, then you have to have a good public policy. And a good public policy cannot be made overnight. Good democracy cannot be developed overnight. Democracy takes time. Yeah, it only takes time. It needs good education, educational policy before you can develop it. But what's happening now? Yeah, we want to develop democracy, but we never educate democracy to our people. That's why democracy turned out to be democracy. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sirozi. Yeah, thank you for your big applause. I think I would like to have my final conclusion about the topic today. There are so many wisdom shared to us from the philosopher through the Professor Sirozi, like education is power, education is freedom. Yeah, and also that's remind me to the what Pak Ami, Dr. Ami Al-Humami said, that through education we can form a middle class. And last but not least is that education is inseparable from politics. What we can do is make good relationship between education and politics. And one more thing which is important, fun learning. We need to be happy to make our brain work better. Thank you very much. Now we need to proceed to our class. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
MS student,
wabarakatuh.
please take Professor Sirozi to your class, okay? Yeah, okay, thank you. I will see you by 5. You will come, yeah? Let's go to the class. Afra, do you want to have a signature from Professor Sirozi later? nanti aja kita tanda tangan dan sebagainya, Mas ambil ini. Masih for your dinner. Present to you.